To his parents, she was a guardian angel, a sweet, caring young woman. But when they left, the mask came off. Alone with a helpless infant, her sweet voice would twist into a snarl that spat curses. Her gentle touches became cruel, humiliating slaps. This isn't just a story about a hero dog. It's about the hideous monster that can hide behind the most innocent face you trust with everything you love. Liam and Sarah Clark were living a dream in their quiet suburban town. They had just welcomed their first child, a beautiful baby boy named Leo. Like all new parents, their world now revolved around this tiny human. A world of sleepless nights, overwhelming joy, and a love so fierce it was almost painful. When the time came for them to return to work, they faced the most daunting decision of their lives. Who could they trust with their son? The search for a babysitter is an exercise in anxiety. You are inviting a stranger into the heart of your home, into your family's sanctuary. The Clarks were meticulous. They interviewed countless candidates, checked every reference, and then they found her, 21-year-old Amber Collins. She seemed perfect, almost too perfect. A bright smile, a soft voice, and an impeccable background check. Liam and Sarah felt a wave of relief wash over them. They were certain that their little Leo would be in the safest hands possible. For the first 5 months, everything seemed to be going perfectly, or so they thought. Amber was always punctual, the house was always tidy, and Leo seemed fine. But there was another member of their family, a silent observer. Max, their black Labrador mix, started subtly, a slight tensing of his body whenever Amber walked through the door. Then came a low rumble in his chest, a growl so quiet you could barely hear it. Liam and Sarah dismissed it as simple jealousy. He stopped growling quietly. Now he would bare his teeth, the fur on his back standing on end. He would physically block the hallway to the nursery, refusing to let Amber pass. The sound he made was no longer just a warning. It was a guttural snarl filled with pure hatred. On more than one occasion, Liam had to physically restrain Max, who seemed ready to lunge at the throat of this sweet-faced girl. Amber, for her part, played the victim flawlessly. She would shrink back, a look of fear on her face, her voice a trembling whisper. "I just don't understand why he hates me so much," she'd say. She masterfully framed herself as the target and their loving family pet as a vicious, unpredictable beast. The parents felt embarrassed, apologizing profusely. They began locking Max in a separate room whenever the babysitter arrived. That was the worst mistake they could have made. Locked away, Max couldn't see what was happening, but he could hear everything. He would whine and scratch at the door, barking until he was hoarse. For the dog, the hours when Amber was alone with Leo were pure torture. He could hear what his owners could not. Weeks turned into a month, and the seed of doubt planted by Max's relentless behavior began to sprout in Sarah's mind. One evening, seeing desperation in Max's eyes, Sarah told Liam, "Something is wrong. Max wouldn't be like this for no reason." They decided to listen in. The next morning, Sarah slipped her iPhone under the living room couch, its voice recorder silently running. Their day at the office was a blur of anxiety. They hoped, they prayed, that the recording would prove them wrong, that they would hear nothing but sweet cooing and baby laughter. They were wrong. When they played the recording, the sweet tone had vanished, replaced by a cold, irritated venom. They heard her spew vile curses at their 7-month-old son. And then, the sound. A wet, sickening slap followed immediately by a piercing, soul-shattering shriek. That sound fractured their world. The realization crashed down on them. For 5 months, they had delivered their child into the hands of a monster. They didn't waste a second. The police were called, and faced with the undeniable evidence of her own voice, Amber confessed. For the Clark family, the scars would never fully fade. But they learned a powerful lesson about the evil that can lurk behind a charming smile. And the most important lesson came from their silent, four-legged hero, Max. He saw the monster behind the mask. This story is a terrifying reminder. Always listen to those who cannot lie.